Hey guys, how's it going? It's Clarissa with our Drama Movie Show, and today I wanted to talk about I, Tonya, which is about the figure skater Tonya Harding. I don't know if you guys are familiar with her. I was definitely too young when it actually happened, but I do remember her being this major, pop culture reference during the late 90s. Okay, so to catch you up, Tonya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan were both competing in the national championships to earn a place on the 1994 Olympic team. But Kerrigan was attacked outside of her practice session by an assailant, her leg was bruised, and she was forced out of the competition. But then, that assailant was linked back to Tonya Harding's ex-husband, Jeff Gillooly, and his friend Sean Eckhart. So the trailers for this film have really played up the idea that it's a straight comedy, and you can definitely see that in the character of Sean Eckhart. He's portrayed here as just the ultimate buffoon, a very ridiculous dude, and to some degree that is true because during the credits they show some of the real interviews and he's there describing himself as like a counter-terrorism expert. And definitely in other aspects it does play up to the idea that this is a comedy in very much the so crazy, it must be true genre of film. There's a very Martin Scorsese-esque style to it all with lots of asides and narration to camera. For example, there's one scene where Tonya shoots off a gun at her ex-husband and then turns to the camera and says, "This never happened." And there are also some very on-the-nose musical cues, which I just think those two artistic flourishes were pretty unnecessary in telling the story, because as much as there is comedy around Tonya, Tonya herself is this very tragic figure, and I feel like it would have been more beneficial not to have anything distract from that, because that's the crux of the story. Because in this movie there is just this angry, wounded cry against the system and just all of the bullshit circumstances that play against people and destroy their lives. You know, at one point Tonya Harding was one of the best athletes in the world, and she was the first American woman to do the triple axel, which may not mean much to you, but basically because of where the legs are in that jump, it is almost impossible to stick the landing right. But she didn't come from a privileged background and she couldn't afford these ultra professional fancy costumes, so she had to sew her own. And this film really captures the idea that she was punished for having the audacity of, as she says, never apologizing for growing up poor, and she just saw herself as an athlete. She didn't see herself as some entertainer flouncing up and down the ice, and because of that, she didn't capture the wholesome American image that the judges and the competition organizers wanted. And I know, I'm aware that this is a movie and movies set narratives, and this film does suggest that Tonya is totally innocent, that she didn't know anything about the attack, and it does also acknowledge that it's doing that by starting off the film by stating that it's based on irony-free, totally contradictory interviews. So who knows, maybe Tonya is guilty, maybe she ordered the attack, I don't know. I think the point is that even if this isn't directly Tonya's story, it's somebody's story. And it's interesting because I've actually just started watching American Crime Story, and this film actually ends with a shot of O.J. Simpson on the TV, and I can see the parallels between that TV show and I, Tonya, because they're both less about the guilty / non-guilty aspect of those cases and more just about the sort of wider social ideas that were coming out of them. And so to me, I, Tonya is the story of a victim of abuse from all sides, from her mother, her ex-husband, the class system, the media. Like, those circumstances so shaped her and so shaped her life, and I think it is meant to enrage you at least a little bit, or just make you aware that when we talk about these issues or we talk about an unequal society, we're not just talking about it in the abstract. You know, that you can take someone who is so talented and so hopeful and so driven, and this film reminds us a lot that Tonya just wanted to skate, and you can take that person and just crush them, and that, you know, we don't all start off on the same level, and people have to overcome insane obstacles to achieve success. And I think, you know, beyond all that pop culture ridiculousness, there is this well of frustration there. And it's actually interesting that this was directed by Craig Gillespie, who also did Lars and the Real Girl, which is a movie that I love, and also is very good at taking this ridiculous situation and finding the tragedy in it. And I think the performances are also very good at doing that, specifically Margot Robbie as Tonya Harding and Alison Janney as her mother both deliver these very wounded and very angry performances that really make them products of their environment, and you can see that even in their most unlikable moments. So even though I do have some reservations about the film style, and particularly those Martin Scorsese-esque narration and soundtrack bits, I did think that I, Tonya was surprisingly moving and very worth your time. But if you've had a chance to see I, Tonya, I would love to know what you guys thought. You can let me know down in the comments below, or you can hit me up on Twitter, details down in that description box. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe so we can hang out and talk about movies. I'll see you guys soon. Bye!